Welcome back to Rapid Motion Dirt Works. We're carrying on our coverage from the Kalahari 400, and we've seen the bikes. It's now quad time, and man, you're going to see some high speed now.
Hopefully the gearing has been sorted out on these bikes, because there are some high speed spots that they're going to have to go flat out in. Top contenders this season have been Flippy Bart and Brian Baragwanath.
Well, Brian, it's been a pretty bad luck year for you, and now you're on top of time trial, but you need a finish today.
Absolutely, that's where we want to keep it. Bike's working well, loving the setup, thanks to PP and Lone Star. I can't complain, I'm looking for a good result today.
You're chasing in the championship now, is that playing in your head at all when you start this race today?
Absolutely, we want to finish and we want to finish first today.
Suspension going to be a major setup today with all that whip section, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Suspension's a big deal, motor's a big deal. It's a very fast event, but when it gets technical, you've got to make it count.
Time trial, and it was all about Brian Baragwanath, but a big surprise as Damien Lee got up into second place ahead of Flippy Bart.
Damien, you're coming good this year with consistency in time trials and in the races. Tell us what your trick is this year.
Just decided to ride at my own pace, not push myself too hard, and take it easy and just judge the corners carefully.
It's going to be a pretty quick race today with a lot of sand and whips. Suspension going to be a major setup today.
Yes, my PEP shocks, but done by EMD Racing, worked phenomenally yesterday. They were absolutely amazing.
What are you expecting out there today?
Long grass, fast, thick sand, and it's going to be fun.
Flippy, desert racing is what you're used to, and this is desert racing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yesterday was a lot of fun. Very fast sections, but we enjoyed it, and we'll see how today turns out.
Leading the championship, but you got Brian in front of you now on time trial. Is that going to be a hard thing to catch?
Well, I don't know. I think today it's not a race that you want to start in front. The grass is going to be long, and then again 400 k's is very, very long.
First two loops on one loop, and then you go on to the next. Is it all about consistency throughout the race?
Well, I'm going to try to be consistent. I'm just going to try and finish good and enjoy myself.
So as we saw in the bikes, it's Bidvest Yamaha leading out. Brian Baragwanath needs to take a win here, but he's going to have some big guys chasing him down.
Lots of competition coming his way as well. Watch out for the two Hondas behind him. As you said, a big, impressive ride from the Amsoil man. He's up into second place after the time trial. He's going to be closed down very quickly by Flippy.
Duplessis and then Busman. Now, Busman looks like he really wants it, and this is classic Busman territory. Flat out and just pinned.
Everything she's got. Duplessis. Looks like we've missed the front two leaders there, or what's happened? We don't know Brian. Brian's gone missing. Duplessis leads out. Flippy's up in a second, so Brian has had a problem early on.
We saw this with the bikes. Crossing these fences causes a lot of problems, and Brian has wound up almost an entire fence into his back wheel. We're going to have to see what he can do. We know he can come from behind, but this is going to be a big ask.
Riders coming through here thick and fast. We saw Sorrel van Biljoen. Swanepoel's in there. Right behind him comes Cornell Connemeyer. And look at that, Hannes Simon, right up there and in contention right from the word go.
He had a good qualifier, and on this track, on these kind of events, you so need a good qualifier. And check out the Masked Bandit, Vic Zebra, all the way up there, and a new helmet, looks funky.
And second place in the seniors, just behind Sorrel van Biljoen, who went through a couple of bikes ago. But remember, this is the first lap, and it's pretty much just some big grass cutting going on now. The leaders are showing the rest of the field how to get around.
Yeah, it's only for the brave out front. I definitely wouldn't want to be out there. Just want to follow the guys, learn the track, and check where everything is lying. We saw Jaco Fender go through there. Ferreira was just ahead of him. Jackie Antigua, Chris Fell, and Vince.
Big Vince coming through. And our first of our masters. And who do we see? Oh, who do we expect to see? Yuri Meyer, as always.
Fastest old man on the Yamaha, absolutely pinned. Gideon Reinecker, he's looking pretty decent as well, and Chris van der Veste is not a great qualifier for him, but he should be able to get his way up there on the open class quad.
Around Stander and flying through here, absolutely awesome stuff. As you said, Gideon Reinecker going to make his way through. Remember, what is this, AMA? The AMA Supercross out here. Flippy Bart leads out. He's got these boys right on his tail. Duplessis and Busman. And it looks like Duplessis got stuck in some mud somewhere.
Yeah, it looks like Flippy's pretty happy to be out front because he's not taking any of the roost off the rest of these guys. And check out Jackie Antigua. He's actually bridged the gap, and he is running in the front bunch. That's good for the junior step-up.
Who else is not running in the front bunch here? Look at these guys. They're absolutely pinned together here. You can throw a proverbial blanket over the first 10 riders there.
Yeah, there's no bunch. It's just the entire race is out there. So just look at the freight train heading out. That Marshall point is going to be crazy. That poor guy's going to run out of ink in the first 5 minutes.
He is. Zebra's caught up onto the back end of them now, so he's also caught up onto the back end of Sorrel van Biljoen. So the senior battle is also in those front 12 bikes that are split by less than 4 or 5 seconds.
Yeah, the first bit of air is actually Jaco Fenter, and poor guy, he missed the invite to the front group.
It'll be in the mail though, don't worry. You can get it when you get back and download your email.
And then Chris van der Westhuizen, remember, he's running in the open class, so when we get into the open sections where you can really stretch the legs, that big Honda is going to be firing.
Vince Lopeshaw right on his tail. I mean, he's just come back from getting married. Then you got Chris Fell behind him. And Yuri Meyer, well, he got the email. He's up there.
Fell looked like he had some goggle issues, so he'll be praying that he can get out there and get them swapped out, because it's going to be a huge problem. Not necessarily for the roost, but you're just traveling so fast. If you get an eye whip from one of those bits of grass even, it's going to hurt, man.
That Gideon Reinicke on the Honda. Here comes Brian. So he's sorted out the problem, cut the fence out of the back wheels, and now back on the pace. But a lot of ground to make up. Well, I say a lot of ground. They're not that far up ahead, so with still probably about 360 odd Ks to go, there's enough time for him to catch up.
Probably only lost around about 5 minutes. He's a good mechanic as well, so he'll know how to work on his bike out there on the trails. And this is where Brian is dangerous. Normally when he's leading out front, he won't give it everything. He'll kind of cruise and ride about an 80% pace. Now it's going to be 110 the whole way.
Jose Roxy dos Santos flying into sight for the first time today. Factory Racing Man.
Senior rider as well, so watch out for him to close things down. He should be up there in the points.
These guys are coming through here now and looking pretty good, but remember, there is still a long, long way to go. Just behind, picking up on the riders as they come through. Looks like that's Brendan van Staden. And behind him, really good, I was about to say, really big riders, and there it is. Speaking of the bigger riders, Kobus Visser, first of the 4x4s.
Not a track that's necessarily going to suit the 4x4s, plenty of power, but it's going to be hard to keep it wound up because the gearing is pretty tight on those things. He'll have had to do a lot of spanner work in the off-season. Sorry, between the races, should I say.
Second of the Santos is Tony, and then right behind comes the first of the ladies, Melissa van Rensburg. She's running high up. That's really good to see on her Synergy quad.
Running ladies and Q1, so she wants a fistful of dollars after this race, and Busman has taken his turn out front. These riders are just, it's like a cycling race. You just take your turn at the front and take a bit of roost at the back. There's going to be nothing to decide between these guys, and Sorrel Valbunion, just the last rider in that bunch as well.
So Hannah Simon might have had a problem going over the bars there. Looks like his peak was gone. And also a bit of mud. Behind him comes Williams.
Yeah, he's on the comeback trail. He didn't have a great qualifier, so he's flying out there. Swanepoel just behind him. Then Conor Meyer, one of the junior step-ups. But the real story is to see how far Brian is. He hasn't quite linked onto this group yet.
Yeah, Water Ride Racing being represented there by Cornell Conor Meyer. Behind him, it's like Erasmus. And then Peterson.
How's that?
Nicely done.
Just pulls the hands off, even though he's got hand guards, didn't want to take, because those are thorn trees, man. They'll rip you apart.
Yeah, well, Zebra's not worried about it. Jeez, he just went through there absolutely full tilt.
Jaco Venter just falling off the pace here ever so slightly. Sweet line through the gap there. I want to see if Brian's just going to surf his way through the puddles. He'll be flying by the time he gets to this point.
Chris van der Westhuizen, leading open rider on the Honda. No hassles at all for him. I mean, he's just going to take it easy. He's not worried about the battle in front of him because there's just seniors and 450 riders in front.
Chris Fowle sorted out his goggle situation, so he's got some new eyewear happening there. Yuri Meyer, the master and the master of quad riding, but who's behind? It's Vince and the danger man. Here comes Brian.
I think Vince saw him coming, just moved out the way, realized it was Brian. Good move there. Good stablemate work from the two Yamaha boys.
Brian is absolutely flying now, and it's not too far before he actually catches that lead bunch. So we're going to see some changes up from the aggressive Bidvest Yamaha man.
Loving the fact that Reinicke and Stander on the CDV machines are starting to come through, and might even be a factor by the end of the race.
Stander was the last man to come through shot there, and Brian Baragwanath has done the unthinkable. Dropped back 5 minutes, closed the gap, and now he leads because this is the kind of track that suits him. He will never, ever back off the throttle.
Full tilt there. You can see absolutely everything she's got. There's into the highest gear he's got on the bike. Behind him, it's going to be Flippy. Flippy Bart realized that once Brian had got through, he cannot play around with the boys anymore. He's got to get going, and it looks like his teammate is going to go with him.
Check out Williams. He's really plowed through a lot of traffic, so Williams has just done so much work in the early part of this race to get himself up there into a podium position. But this part of the track is where bike setup and gearing, most importantly, comes into play. You are at the top of the revs in top gear, and if you haven't got it set up properly, you're going to lose ground or you're going to make ground.
Water Ride Racing's Conor Meyer is up into 4th place. It's a good ride from him. Swanepoel behind him. Here comes Hannah Simon. I beg your pardon. It looked like he'd gone down, but actually his peak is still on there. It was probably just all the mud that was on that peak.
Simon, then Peterson, one of the youngsters stepping up into the senior side of things and showing well as well, because we seem to have lost Jackie Antigua. So as far as the lighties battle goes, Peterson is the man.
As far as the senior battle is, Zebra's the man. He's got ahead now of Sorrel van Biljoen. Van Biljoen having his own little problems out there, and unfortunately, he had to sort them all out before he could get going.
Jaco Venter, he's been pretty honest out there, staying within the top 10. Hasn't been in the front group, but I think if he keeps his pace up, he should be able to tag onto the back wheel pretty soon. And then CVDV, Chris van der Westhuizen, the open class Storm Racing Honda man.
Consistent ride from Chris Fell as always, just keeping it all together as he heads into the Millie Fields. Here comes Reinecker.
Gideon Reinecker, CDV rider on the Honda, and then Busman. Look at him, just tucking, getting down there, trying to stay out of the wind. And definitely the fastest man through that section. I told you this was the kind of track that suited him, but I don't know what's happened. He's dropped off the pace. He needs to come back.
I was about to say, he's lost a bit of ground there, so something's gone wrong on Busman's bike. Maybe he got stuck in some of that fence as well. Leading master is still Yuri Meyer. And David Hollis, first shot we've seen of him, so he's made his way through.
Jose Roxy dos Santos, the senior battle and the masters battle is going to be huge today.
They really are pushing hard. Nice little hand up there. Looks like all according to plan. Clive Krauser. Haven't seen a lot of him this season. Good to see him back up and near the front end, but being closed down pretty quickly by a massive thumbs up from Andre Duplessis.
Duplessis drops off the pace as well, and Jackie Antigua, hand off the bars, looks pretty defeated. And then Tony dos Santos. So the dos Santos is out in thick force here today.
Run very, very fast out there, but you got the lead.
Yeah, it's great. Fell back in the beginning, picked up some wire on the axle. Managed to fix it up. Luckily, had the right tools on me again. Now we're only halfway. We'll see how it goes.
Getting pretty whipped out there?
Yeah, it's getting choppy. The bike's awesome. The Yamaha is flying out there. So I can't complain.
Heard you saying now you just need a 2-minute gap in case you have a flat or anything like that?
Yes, yeah, that's what we want to try and maintain. Don't want to overdo it, don't want to overpush the bike. It is really hard on the engines out here.
Flippy, very, very fast out there today,
Yes, this bike suits the track very well. Setting on Brian, so we'll see how the second loop turns out.
Quite rutted out there and whipped out after one lap.
Yes, very, but that makes it even more fun.
So fitness comes to play now.
Yeah, we'll see.
Big top 5 overall, and that's pretty impressive on the seniors.
Top 5? No, I don't believe you. No, it's awesome, lovely. The rain's just perfect for me. Bike's perfect. I'm just enjoying it. See how far I can go. That's
One more
all.
lap to go now. Pretty whipped out, but
Yes, that second time around this first loop, it was quite rough. Now we'll see now with the second loop, the red loop, see what happens. I'll just hope I get a bit of luck this time.
Rock losing a little bit of time last time around, just getting all that grass out of your radiator, but coming back nicely now.
Yeah, rather safe and sorry. I try and save the motor from getting too hot, but it's just so fast. I mean, you set pin 5th gear, maybe make up a second or 2 or 3 a corner, but that's it. So we'll fight till the end and see where we end up.
Putting major strain on these motors.
Yeah, they work hard, so we actually take a bit more out of them than we should, but yeah, let's enjoy it nevertheless.
Oh, look how awesome this is. A big up to RP Reinecker for coming to join us here and giving us a helicopter to play in. We would not be able to get these shots without him. And I think even your chopper RP is going to battle to stay with the pace of Brian and Flippy.